Good morning and welcome.
God, this morning we give you thanks and praise as the Father of our city. For only your hands could have formed and shaped such a beautiful place. And you have instructed us to pray for our city. So we come today to lift up the city of Colorado Springs as we seek its welfare and its safety. We ask for your protection on our streets and in our neighborhoods, and we pray for prosperity and well-being. May there be peace in our communities and also in our homes. We rely upon you, O God, and desire your blessings. We ask for guidance for our city leaders and that you would promote peace and unity among them. Our county commissioners, the men and women of the council, and also our mayor. Give them wisdom and discernment as they engage with each other to make important decisions for the common good and on behalf of our city. May they be one in you. Give them understanding of the various and complex issues that must be addressed. May they act with courage, stand for righteousness and for justice. We ask that they be filled with integrity and wisdom in all of their deliberations. And finally, Father, we admit sometimes there are hurt feelings. There are misunderstandings, disagreements, and divisions. But we ask your forgiveness and seek your healing, your reconciliation and restoration. May our hearts be turned to you as a city, as a state, as a nation, and as a people. We ask these things in your most holy name, we pray. Amen.
And Commissioner Applegate, if you'd lead us in the pledge.
Sure. I pledge allegiance
I just want to remind you of the decorum that we have in this building. Please do not shout out during the meeting. Thank you. Okay, before we move on to item 3, I just want to, I've become aware someone in the audience was kind enough to explain to me or ask a question about when would we be discussing ICE detention centers. That is not on our agenda for today. That is not something that the commissioners deal with. So I just want to make sure that that is clarified. CRS 24-76 .7102 significantly limits any Colorado local government from participating in any kind of ICE detention. And so just I want to make sure that it is aware that this board is not able to take any action on any of those items. Though you are, and again, there is no item on our agenda, though you are welcome to speak during our public comment period. Because we do have quite a number of people here on a variety of topics. We are going to limit public comment to 1 full hour today because we do have considerable business after that that this board needs to participate in. So we will do 2 minutes for a total of 1 hour, and we will do that based on the sign up. So if you have not signed up for public comment, I would ask you to do so. Also know that we have many other ways to contact this board. And then so you can do that through email, voicemail, many ways to reach out and share what it is that you would like to share with this board. With that, we'll move to item 3.
Item number 3 is staff emergency items, and I'm unaware of any staff emergency items today.
Item 4.
Item number 4 is changes, postponements, and notice of the next meeting. I'm unaware of any changes or postponements to today's agenda, and the next meeting will be Thursday, July 24th at 9:00 a.m. for land use.
Item 5.
Item number 5 is the consent calendar, including items 5A through 5X9.
Okay, is there anyone here who wishes to speak on an item that is on the consent calendar? Okay, seeing none in the room and none online, I'll bring it up here for any comments or a motion.
I would move approval of the consent calendar, items 5A through 5X9.
Second.
Okay, that's been moved and seconded. I'll call the roll. Commissioner Weisong,
Aye.
Commissioner Nelson,
Aye.
Commissioner Applegate,
Aye.
Vice Chair Williams,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. That passes 5-0. Item 6.
Item number 6 is comments by elected officials and commissioner liaison reports.
Okay, I do not see any countywide elected officials in the room. Do we have any online? Okay, we'll start with Commissioner Weisong.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last couple of weeks, as most of you know, we had the rodeo last week, or 2 weeks ago, and we also had the El Paso County Fair that ran all the way through till Saturday. I was fortunate to be asked to be the judge for the Fair Queen, which was a very first-time interesting event. And then on Monday, I had the opportunity to participate in the dunk tank and got dunked 15 times. So relating to water, had the opportunity to do a number of tours with CSU to truly understand what our water is, where it comes from, basically from source to wastewater as it's returned to its source. Lived in Colorado Springs for over 38 years and didn't even know that we had a inlet or an intake diversion off of Colorado, and then a wastewater treatment plant on Mark Dabbling. So it was a great opportunity to truly understand what is what's there, and it will help me a lot as I work on a number of boards and commissions for water and wastewater. Thank you.
Commissioner Nelson.
Good morning. As Director Weisong mentioned, I was able to attend the rodeo and a couple of days at the El Paso County Fair, and it just was such a unique opportunity to help celebrate the community members that have this agricultural way of living, and remember that as a board, we serve a variety of citizens in our county, and it was very fun to see all the animals. My kids really enjoyed the event. Mad Chad, the juggler, put on an amazing show where he juggled 3 chainsaws that were running. So that was pretty impressive. And so I just really want to recommend that if you have the chance next year to attend either of these events, it is worth your time and energy. And the Demolition Derby was a wonderful event to celebrate just smashing cars and old school buses. That was the funnest to watch, the school buses. And I learned from Commissioner Geithner that the fair is self-sustaining and that the revenue that is pulled in helps maintain future years of it running. So that is something to be proud of, that our tax dollars are being able to focus on infrastructure and roads and those sorts of things. And then we can enjoy celebrating our community through the fair, through the revenue that it brings in. This coming week, I will be attending the Region 16 Opioid Council meeting and also the Board of Health meeting. So I look forward to participating in both those events. Thank you.
Commissioner Applegate.
Thank you. And so, yeah, and to just reflect what you guys had said. Yeah. So we had fair, we had the rodeo, awesome events. I mean, love seeing the Broncos buck, love seeing the stuff out at the fair, chainsaw jugglers, our stuntmen. Sounds like Commissioner Weissong, like the people we put up rookie numbers, we need to go 16 or more next year. So
When you're there.
so I was gone a little bit at the tail end of the rodeo and at the start of the fair because I was in Philadelphia for the NACO conference, and we had 2 resolutions. Special shout out to Ryan Parcell and Brandon Wilson for following me out there, helping me through everything. Our resolutions passed. One was on an EPA standard, and so where we try to where emissions, if it comes from like a wildfire or a source we can't control out of state, we don't get dinged on our emission standards. So it's basically we're only responsible for controllables. The other resolution we had was for transportation, and Brandon Wilson actually presented that one all by himself with a second from Eric Stone. And he presented where they're going to lobby Congress. So if our population increases, the federal government cannot take away infrastructure dollars from us. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter what their budget shortfall is. They have to make sure we maintain what we have for this state so that way we can keep maintaining our highways and our interstates. And that resolution passed 36-1 on a vote. So thank you for their good work. And that was the highlight of my weekend last weekend.
Vice Chair Williams.
I just wanted to thank our staff, our county fair committee, and many, many volunteers, as well as all of the people who signed up for booths and staffed those booths for a wonderful county fair this year. I was not able to get out to it but one day, but I understand it went very well, and we really appreciate especially our staff who works very hard during that week to provide for a successful event in Eastern El Paso County. On Monday, I do serve on one Department of Human Services committee, which is the Child Welfare Allocation Committee, but they have 3, of which one of them is the Joint Allocation Committee. They had a meeting where we were trying to figure out in which way our state dollars for the Department of Human Services need to be funded. It is a very complex process. Sometimes you can spend up to 110% of your allocation, and sometimes you spend up to 80% of your allocation. It's not as, I don't like to call the county budget simple, but the county budget at least is simple in that they tell us how much we have at the start of the year, and we very rarely have to do a supplemental appropriation in the middle of the year, whereas the state welfare and temporary assistance for needy families budget is very complex. So it was a really interesting meeting. We did some surveys, and we do have a very hardworking Colorado State Department of Human Services. I have been impressed by their knowledge and how hard they are working to try and manage what is a tough issue with budget cuts and changes in the programs coming from the federal level. And they're working really hard to try to find the best way to make a stable system for the county governments to be able to administer. Other than that, I just have my land use meeting on Thursday, to my knowledge, as we changed up some of our committees today. And I look forward to the meeting today to hearing what everybody has to say. Thank you.
Okay, and then I have some of the same meetings that have been mentioned, Opioid Council. I also have Regional Building on Thursday. And I too just wanted to mention and give a huge thank you to all those who participated in putting on the El Paso County Fair. It was a fantastic event. I spent many days out there, as well as one in the dunk tank, but I hear I did not get dunked quite as much as Commissioner Weissong. And in particular, I always like to highlight the junior livestock sale that happened on the last Saturday of the fair, which is a great opportunity for our 4-H kids. They spend so much time and dedication working on these projects throughout the year. It's a great opportunity for them to earn some money for college through that program is what is really unique about it. But also the partnership between P4HO, which I also always love to highlight, which is a nonprofit that works with the junior livestock sale to purchase animals that are then utilized by Springs Rescue Mission to both to both help upskill the clients there at Springs Rescue Mission to help them get jobs, as well as feeding the folks at Springs Rescue Mission. And it's just a really fantastic partnership between the rural and urban parts of our county, where our agricultural community can really come together and help some of the center of Colorado Springs issues and folks that are struggling with homelessness. So a great program, and was happy to see how well the junior livestock sale went. With that, we will move on to item 7.
Item number 7 is Community Service Organization Reports. 7A, Careers in Construction, Marla Novak, Executive Officer, Housing and Building Association of Colorado Springs.
And I believe that actually Mr. George Hess is going to be giving this presentation this morning.
Good morning. Do I sign in somewhere? Volunteer? My name is George Hess. I'm the current chairman of Careers in Construction Colorado. I want to thank you for allowing us to come out every year and see you all and tell you what we've been doing. Joining me is Renee Zentz and Glenn Hard. Renee is the CEO and president of Careers in Construction Colorado, and she'll come up at the end of the presentation to make her own comments. And every year you've got to tell me how to do this. Help me, Carrie. Next slide, please. We have some new commissioners, and so I'm going to give you a little background. Careers in Construction was conceived in 2014, 10 years ago. And the concept was, how can we place construction-based vocational education in the high school system? 2015, CICC was created as a workforce committee of the Housing and Building Association, and we started with one high school.
I'm so sorry. Let me just make sure we actually, there we go. There's our presentation. Okay, thank you. Go ahead. Proceed. Sorry.
Okay. Was I ahead of you? We started with one high school in the Harrison School District, Sierra High School, and we started off with 18 kids. In 2019, Careers in Construction, the HBA, partnered with the Association of General Contractors, a commercial organization, and we formed Careers in Construction Colorado and formed a 501c3. Next slide, please. Our mantra, if you meditate, educate, empower, and employ. It's what we do is really that simple. Now, we don't educate anybody, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Next slide, please. Educate. We partner with the educational system. Okay, we help support. Kids learn through pre-apprenticeship curriculum provided by the Home Builders Institute, a nonprofit based in Washington, D.C. that provides curriculum and is actually the largest provider of other workforce programs in the country, and is recognized by the Department of Labor in their curriculum and in their certification. We use guest speakers from the industry that come and talk to kids about what it's like to work in the construction industry, how they should work, how they should perform, how they should dress. And we create awareness and opportunities for them through learning in depth, breadth, and of the industry, and understanding what pathways may be out there for them to achieve their career goals. Next slide, please. We empower through job site tours. Job shadows are a big one, and employability training. Not only do we give kids the skill sets to use a saw, a drill, read a tape measure, read a set of blueprints, but we teach them what it's expected of them to go on the job site. Next slide, please. We employ. If you've ever been to one of our career fairs, and I would invite you to come to one of those, they are very special. I use them as a fundraising technique, personally, when I bring donors to see what it is that their funds have gone to when they see what young people are learning. So we personalize job matchmaking. Okay, we have young people that work with kids in the districts and the schools that will match, say, I'll use an example that I'm familiar with. A young person who wants to go into the home building industry with, say, Vantage Homes and what they have may have available in a assistant superintendent position or something like that. We show them how to apply and give them resume support and interviewing and hiring preparation, which they don't get in traditional schools today. Next slide, please. Here's our organizational structure. It's evolved over the years. We have what we call the mothership, which Renee is the CEO and Glenn is the director of. And the mothership works with other what we call chapters throughout the state, who also work with other school districts with their careers in construction program. For example, the HBA of Northern Colorado is a chapter of Careers in Construction Colorado. The HBA of Colorado Springs is a chapter of Careers in Construction Colorado. The HBA of Grand Junction is a chapter of Careers in Construction Colorado. So you'll see where all of these schools fall underneath these chapters. Then we have schools underneath the chapters, and then we have what we call satellite schools. So if Rush, Colorado wants to be a part of this program, they have that ability to be a part of that without being underneath a chapter. Next slide, please. We are the largest program of its type in the country, period. Next slide, please. These are our school locations. I won't go through each one of them. You can see where they are, but you can see we are currently spread throughout the state. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. Here's where we are today. We currently have 91 high school locations throughout the state of Colorado. We have 6 trade association chapters, which includes home builders associations and AGCs and others. We have 15,368 total school students enrolled in the program historically. We've issued almost 10,000 certifications in various trade certs, almost 6,000 OSHA 10 certificates, and we have employed 2,211 since the inception of this program, and that's in the state of Colorado. Next slide, please. Again, our school locations in our list. I'm not going to go through these. Next slide. Now, this is what you all are concerned about, obviously, and that's the Pikes Peak region, right? That's where your money and your support goes. We have 21 Colorado Springs high school locations. We have what we call 7 home build programs. We have 7 schools that have chosen to build on-site a modular home underneath the supervision of both their instructor and what we call a builder captain, and that would be somebody from industry that goes out and helps these young people learn how to build a house on site every day, and it's on the school location so the kids don't have to travel. We then sell that home. CICC owns that home. We then sell that home, roll those dollars back into the program to help fund the program. We have what we call the Building Futures Fund, which you all help support through the Pikes Peak Regional Building Department, and we have raised almost $1 million through that program. That is a voluntary checkoff at the time of building permit, where I, as a builder, every time I pull a building permit, make a voluntary donation to the Building Futures Fund. For the 24-25 school year, which started last fall into this spring, we had 1,132 kids enrolled, and we've employed 1,166 students in the El Paso County region, the Pikes Peak region. Next slide, please. Our goals, these were set, we hope to hit these by 2028. I think we're going to hit them next year, personally. 100 kids in the program. 100 schools in the program, 5,000 kids on an annual basis enrolled in the program, and employing 20% of the kids annually that are within the program that would like a job. Next slide, please. Thank you for your support. With that, I'm going to bring Ms. Zentz up and Mr. Hart, and they're going to correct the things that I have forgotten.
Good morning, Commissioners. Renee Zentz with Careers in Construction, Colorado. One thing, can you go back a few slides? I think something that go back to the to where it says employment. I think that sometimes we get so caught up in stats that we do not. This is my favorite slide. A couple more. There you go, right there. It's hard to see, but those are 10 kids that all have jobs because of this program. These are kids, and we asked them to take a picture and tell us their story, and they're from all over the state of Colorado. So if I just wanted you to look at those faces, why I am thanking you guys for the individual, the county support that has come and made this program possible. This really is a program that is risen for the support, risen out of Colorado Springs, came out of Colorado Springs with the support of El Paso County Commissioners. You guys support us, support us consistently, mostly through the Department of the Pikes Peak Workforce Board. During COVID, when every school was shut down because there was some small funding and we were up and running, you guys voted for us. The school said, we will open our schools. We will put these kids out in the parking lots, and you give us a tent and we'll space them. And they kept working, and they earned certificates. They actually even earned stipends while they were doing that because of these pass-through grants. So you guys have been a huge supporter to the Pikes Peak workforce. You guys have supported us through a community fund and then also through the block grants, because the schools that we're in Colorado Springs, 70% of these kids are free and reduced lunch, right? So even though we're mainstream, we have to remember we are building our own community through economic advancement and upskilling. So I think that is really, I just wanted to let you guys know the importance of this board and of all the different entities in Colorado Springs, government-wise. This board has been our champion from the beginning. So we really do want to thank you guys for that. So and if you have any questions, Glenn was our principal of Manitou High School. He oversees recruitment and retention. He is our industry. George is our industry. I am an association professional, and then Glenn is our education professional. Again, because we come alongside of public schools and they teach, and then we provide what the industry should providing, which is curriculum and mentoring and finance. So if you guys have any questions for education or the industry or association, professional, whatever, we'd love to answer them.
Are there any questions from commissioners? Commissioner Weissong.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Great program. Did attend the last show at the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame. Having spent a little bit of time in the construction industry many years ago. This is great. So keep up the good work, and not everyone is college bound, and this is a fabulous program to help some of these kids figure out what they want to do. So,
Vice Chair Williams.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you for everything that you do. This is not something that I would have had in my high school. I do know how to put in campaign signs pretty well and how to screw things together, and do not hang pictures because I have a hammer and look policy. So it usually ends up in 10 holes in the wall as opposed to being nice and level. So, but I do appreciate everything you're doing. The high school students who participate in this program see opportunities that they wouldn't see otherwise. They also still have the opportunities to go on to college and go into the industry. And it's just a fantastic program to give them a chance to go into a trade industry. And so I appreciate everything you do. Thank you.
Commissioner Applegate.
You knew I was going to comment on this. Thank you guys and gals for showing up. I appreciate it. So, yeah, I mean, looked at the numbers, and we're 500,000 skilled trades short in this country. And just the work that you do, I know it's so needed. You got to get in front of those high school students, because I was sold that lie from the age of 14. Oh, you have to have a 4-year degree. You have to have a master's degree. You won't be successful without college. And yet I only did 2 years of school. But once I started doing trade school and I got my electrical license and I got going and I got in the trades, I started realizing this is a career. This is something I could turn around and do for 20 years and have a retirement and have decent benefits and be a little more well off than most people I know. So I appreciate that, and continue to show those kiddos, I mean, just how cool this stuff is, and that, some neat lines of work in the trade work. So.
Commissioner Nelson.
Can you speak to a little bit about the specifics of what the children are experiencing? Are they having access to learning about plumbing, electrician work, welding? It looks like there were pictures of them driving heavy machinery.
Yeah, absolutely. So the curriculum, as George mentioned, is, my name is Glenn Hard. Sorry, I'm the Director of Recruitment and Retention for CICC. The curriculum is residential construction based. So there's an introductory year where kids really just kind of get their feet wet. Of course, safety is primary during that first year. And then they get exposure to what are the trades, right? Carpentry, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, and so on. It's almost like an exploratory, although the skills they develop even in that first year, because it's such a hands-on experience, at the completion of that first year, they earn a certificate in their OSHA 10 card. They can put that on their resume to demonstrate they are employable, regardless if they're a ninth grader or a senior in the program. So beyond that first year, then schools specialize in specific trades, whatever is appropriate at the desire of the school and their community. So residential construction based, although the skills are transferable into every pathway in construction, our greatest employers, frankly, are commercial builders.
Wonderful. So are the students also able to receive credits towards their high school graduation when they're in this program?
They are currently, most schools offer elective credit for enrolling in the program, although with some new legislation, it looks like there's going to be more emphasis within the state of Colorado on these types of programs. So I think we'll see more and more checking the box on graduation guidelines as an example with these kinds of programs.
Yeah, that's great. Just for those listening, if you have a student that maybe has an interest in welding, this is a great opportunity for them to try it out without investing a lot of their own dollars towards the college, training. They can sort of get a taste, and you're helping give exposure to, hey, this is an industry that that we need support in, and jobs are. I've heard it's hard to find people sometimes in these trade positions. And so great way to give access to kids to get exposure.
Absolutely. And I'll add what I call, when I'm speaking to a prospective school, the secret sauce is this industry connectivity. Because the paradigm that unfortunately I took part in myself as a high school principal of shaking a student's hand, patting them on the back, and sending them on their merry way is not good enough. While we're doing while we're supporting the education in the high schools, we're developing these relationships with our industry partners such that they're involved in the educational process. They're also there ready to receive those kids post high school. So we pat them on the back, shake their hand, say, good job. By the way, would you like to work for Vantage Homes? Right? So there's a direct personal connectivity to our industry.
That's wonderful. Thank you for all the hard work in connecting business and education and just helping have students be able to access. And were you going to say something, Renee?
I do want to just, we came in with our first number, our stats. We have, 16,000 kids that have gone through a program, gone through a classroom. And we were funded by an organization called Colorado Succeeds, because the model that is so critical is not only the industry, but we have navigators, career navigators in the classroom, building relationships. And George said, the professionals come into the classroom and tell what the industry is about, but they tell their personal story. And those students can see that, oh, you know what, maybe college isn't for me right now, or college is for me, I'm going engineering. One of our graduates is graduating, one of our first graduates is now in medical school, and he's an orthopedic. He's an orthopedic because he took the careers in construction class, because he wanted to be in construction, but his parents made him go on to college. So he's like, all right, I'll show you. The data shows right now, and we've only, we had the funding to survey 315 of our graduates. 1 in 3 are in the industry. 84% are happy in their job versus 64% who are not in the industry. They're making $2 more an hour than students who are employed and not in the industry right now. So that is just, we're starting to get the stats and the numbers, but after we've been at this for 10 years, again, we're so locally based because everything is, the way it's structured is local. So, but we're learning to be a lot more sophisticated in how we do our data. So thank you guys for standing through this. I always like to end with a mission moment, so I'm going to have Glenn talk about one student, and then we'll wrap up.
Thank you. I'm actually going to mention two students, not by name, but George mentioned our career fair and the event that is. A little perspective, we had over 30 employers in the room with 600 plus high school kids shaking hands, asking for a job. Two of the recruiters from the employee side were former CICC students. So it's come full circle for those kids.
I think you could define success in a lot of ways, and even having a student figure out that this is not a path that fits for them is just as valuable. So I appreciate that kids just are getting this opportunity to try things out, and let us know how we can continue to support you. Wonderful work. Thank you.
I'll just wrap up quickly here. I know you wanted to wrap up with the story, sorry, but I also want to say thank you. Thank you for your work. I appreciate you focusing on those data points. So many times we have programs that do not do that, and it's very hard for us to continue to support programs where there aren't good data points that really help us to see, and they're part of the story. To your point, there are other pieces of the story, but they can be a very valuable piece of the story for us, and seeing the amount of impact. I agree. Even if kids don't go that direction, it helps them to decide those things. Having a 17-year-old who's about to embark upon his senior year, I can say they're babies still. They don't really know what's out in the world yet. And so having that opportunity to understand some of those things that are out in the world, I think is really, truly fantastic. I also saw something very interesting last week. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with Mike Rowe.
Yeah.
And Mike Rowe had a video out that I showed my 17-year-old son. I said, they've been telling kids for 15 years, learn to code, learn to code, learn to code, learn to code. And here comes AI. And AI is going to be able to code faster and learn faster than most of those kids out there. And so while there may be lots of areas still for kids in those places, it's important to realize what's coming in our future. And AI will not be swinging a hammer, I don't think, and building those buildings, and will not have as big of an impact on trades. And that's an important thing that unfortunately those 17-year-old babies are now having to grapple with, is what does the world look like as we fast forward into a world of AI. So lots of interesting ways to think about what this program can do for kids. Thank you for your work.
And I would be remiss, I want to thank the Housing and Building Association, Marla Novak as an executive officer, continuing this legacy. And as you all know, I previously was with the HBA, and Marla has taken the torch and is so supportive of that. So thank you, Marla Novak. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate the applause. We do not have applause in this building. Again, that's just a matter of decorum. So if you'll hold your applause, I appreciate that. Okay, item 8.
Item number 8 is public comment on items not scheduled on the agenda. And Madam Chair, there are several people that have signed in, and as a reminder, one person that would like to be called in today.
Okay, so we will go ahead and start on the list of those who have signed in. Would you mind calling that first name? If yes, so that we can make sure we stay on the list. And so what I'll ask the clerk to the board to do is maybe to call the first 3 names. And if you are one of those, please move your way down to the front and form sort of a queue so that we can move through as many people as quickly, so we can have as many people, hear from as many people as possible. As a reminder, I will need you to state your name for the record, and then you will have 2 minutes to speak.
It looks like the first 3 are Deborah Graymoon, David Trinkle, and Robin Eisner. Apologies if I mispronounce. To the podium, please.
Hi, my name is Deborah Graymoon, and I'm a taxpayer in El Paso County and have lived here for over 60 years. And my comment is just that I pay taxes here, I have family here, and yet some of my family survived concentration camps in Europe during World War II. Those were people who did not
I
Did
appreciate
not.
it. Please let the speaker speak and no applause. Thank you.
commit any crimes. They were rounded up for who they were, so just for living. And it breaks my heart to think that people who are here just living, contributing to our communities, raising their families, becoming educated, doing what we do here, being part of the American experience, to think that so many of them, even citizens, are being rounded up, not committing any crimes, and being whisked away, kidnapped, and put in these centers. And I really object to my tax dollars being spent to perpetrate this process. And that's my point. Thank you.
Again, I would ask for no applause. Please do not be disruptive. Please, let's give as much time. You can shake your hands and do all of those things silently. That would be great. But let's make sure we get through as many speakers as possible. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is David Trankel, and I've been a resident of Colorado Springs for going on 30 years now. And I'm here to speak about the ICE detention facilities. I understand you guys don't have direct control over that. That's the federal government's purview. But you are representatives of the people of El Paso County. You did take oaths to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. And the idea that this is something about criminals or criminality or cleaning up our country is obvious and bold-faced lies. These are the same lies that were told in countries throughout history where the power of the state was used for ideological reasons to target specific people. We already see it targeting folks who speak out, who've written editorials. We've seen it used against people who are doing the process correctly to come to the United States, who are going to their meetings, who think they're going to show up and be able to become a US citizen and then arrested on the spot. Was it 2 days ago, a man who had a green card who's been here for over 40 years was detained in the meeting that he was voluntarily coming to, and then his family doesn't know if he's dead or what happened to him, and he's deported to a country that he has never been to, is not associated with. I would implore all of you to look deeply into your hearts and to speak up for the people who need your help. And it's all the people. You have the power. You have the voices. You can put yourself in a position to say, this is wrong. I'm in favor of stopping criminals. I'm in favor of stopping criminality. But everything that is happening is completely wrong. The ICE detention centers would be poison for our county. Thank you.
Again, I'm going to ask you to refrain from speaking out or clapping, and I appreciate those of you who are complying with that. Our next speaker, please.
Hello, I'm Robin Iser, and I am a senior and a voter, and I'm appalled at what's happening to our country. I am sick to death to watching television programs, news programs where human beings are thrown to the ground, handcuffed, sometimes beaten, and taken to these detention centers where their families have no idea where they are. Attorneys have no idea how to get in touch with them. And they are being accosted by men who are armed to the teeth, who have masks on, who do not announce who they are, and they are whisked away. And as the former person just said, sometimes deported very quickly to countries that they've never been to. Is this the kind of America you all want to see? Is this the kind of America that you want to be a part of? Madam Chair, you said to me this morning that you as county commissioners have no say whatsoever in these federal decisions to possibly bring 2 detention centers to Colorado Springs. I want you to recall in 2017, the Cheyenne Mountain Resort Center was going to host a KKK affiliated program, and Mayor Suthers had the chutzpah to speak up and say, we don't want that kind of thing happening in our community. As elected officials, you do have the power to influence what happens in this community. And we, the people, everyone here today, we, the people, have a voice and we have the power to determine what kind of America we want to see. One that has rule of law and justice and compassion for human beings. Please make your voices heard. Use your power for good.
Okay, and if we'll have the next three names.
Next speakers, Gavin Rainey, Neil Gillifin, and Jacqueline Armand Diaz.
Good morning, County Commissioners. My name is Gavin Rainey, and I'm a lifelong resident of this county, and I hope to be a lifelong community activist as my days go on. I sit as an alternate commissioner on a commission for the city, and I serve as secretary of my local youth chapter of my political party, although I don't speak for any of these bodies. I tell you not out of vanity, but in hopes you take my words into account, although the title that you should care most about is constituent. I speak before you today regarding the potential opening of a migrant detention center here in El Paso, more specifically Colorado Springs. I am firmly opposed to the opening of such a detestable facility, not just because of the impact it would have on Colorado's economy, but because of the humanitarian concerns it poses. We heard from Congressman Maxwell Frost of Florida's 10th that sanitary conditions inside the insanely packed detention center, operated by the same forces that would open one here, are far beyond inhumane. Multiple members of Congress have attested that their drinking water comes from the toilet. Now, I doubt any of us would take a cup, go to the bathroom, and take a swig of the water inside the stalls, so why would we force anyone else to do the same? And why would we want to replicate those conditions here and be complicit in human rights abuses? I know that the decision to open such a facility would be a federal decision, but if the Republican local government spoke out early and with volume, I believe it would lessen the chances of said facility being built. It was mentioned earlier that the county commission is bound by law, that they cannot get involved, but I didn't hear anything from anyone when Sheriff Joy Roybal tested the law when he allowed those under his command to communicate with ICE about inmates. But apparently the rule of law matters now that the discourse of immigration doesn't fit this set agenda. Thank you.
Our next speaker, please.
My name is Neil Gillifin. I am a resident of El Paso County and a once proud veteran. I strongly object to the unconstitutional detention of any human being for the crime of being undocumented. I'm even more sickened by the detention of citizens. Even Aaron Burr would be sickened by it. As a descendant of Jews, a detention camp actually makes me ashamed of having risked my life for this insult we call a nation. We're quickly becoming pathetic. Christian nationalists are the actual enemies of democracy, and I urge this board to work against their interests and complaints. Vote for we the people and act for us. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jacqueline Armendariz Unzueta, and I'm the first Democrat to file for the El Paso County Board of Commissioners District 5 race in 2026. I'm here today because I answered the call of our community. We're all working together to express a great concern about ICE's abuse of power and the way it's contributing to the rise of fascism in our country. Well, I'm relieved to hear the chair reaffirm that this board actually intends to uphold a state law as the job requires, unlike the Colorado gun control laws this commission has previously attacked. However, to clarify Commissioner Geithner's comments, the issue of our democracy being in jeopardy is indeed on the commission's unofficial agenda today because the people have made it so. That's how democracy works. It also concerns me the commission apparently views itself as powerless, that they can't take action on this issue, such as simply discussing it when it comes to the community. Somehow, Though when it comes to attacking nonprofits that serve immigrants or bashing Governor Polis, this commission has previously seen fit to at least issue a news release, but not when it comes to the rise of fascism. This is an all-hands-on-deck situation for our country, and local government elected officials do not get to wash their hands of these dangers. Ask yourself if you'll be on the right side of history when this chaos era comes to pass. As Commissioner Nelson noted, there are a variety of people in this county, and we must serve them all because no human being is illegal. As people with North American indigenous heritage, this land is our land. However, I think people would disagree with Commissioner Nelson's June comments to the newspaper that the county is headed in a really good direction. To be clear, a good direction would be on the side of protecting democracy and taking forthright action about the concerns of our constituents, not pretending they don't exist. So I look forward to having these conversations further when I sit by your side at the dais after November 2026. Thank you.
Our next three names?
Sorry, next speakers, Honoria Vendovi Rinker, Ryan Crosby, and Steph Behill.
Good morning to you. The previous speakers have been so eloquent that I cannot add much to what they say, except that my heart really is hurting for the way we're treating the people in our country that are refugees. They are also contributing members of society. I read in The Guardian today that some of the detainees are being held in Florida and shackled and made to eat their food without their hands. They have to just use their mouths. Can you believe that? Do we want this in Colorado Springs to have such injustice? I feel it's our duty as citizens to stand up for people that are vulnerable, that are being kidnapped, that are being abused. This is not the country I have lived in 76 years. It's so appalling, and I ask you, I implore you, as other people have said, to use your power, use your voices. Listen to us, please. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ryan Crosby. I'm a third-generation Colorado-born resident. I first want to start by saying that the invocation of prayer at the beginning of all small government and large government meetings is a beautiful example of the separation of church and state. Bravo. I also want to implore everybody in this room who has not learned the history of Camp Amachi out east on the plains, where we interred Japanese American citizens of Japanese descent during World War II, stripped them of their rights, stripped them of their due process, and the history is laid bare for you to learn right there in our backyard. It's not a million miles away, it's not on the other side of the world. We did this right here in our own backyard. Meanwhile, we didn't do anything to German-born residents. That's just pure racism on display, and ICE is now pure racism on display once again.
Good morning, Commissioners. Steph Hill, former and future state rep for Colorado's 16th House District. You all know why I'm up here today, and I understand that you said you're not going to have anything to do with the ICE centers. I find that really difficult to believe from this commission. You've been very vocal about how you don't want us to be a sanctuary county. You've been very vocal about how much you want our county to coordinate with ICE, and you've been very vocal for sure about land use decisions, that you demand home rule over land use. We can't sit here and pretend like this detention center isn't going to require any sort of waiver or variation from the zoning, because we know it will. We know you're going to have to sign off on things, and you're going to sit here and pretend like you don't have anything to do with it. I have a really hard time buying that. Every government over the last century that has carried out an ethnic cleansing campaign has had their justifications. Every one of them. And we watch them do it over and over again. Generally speaking, none of you, and certainly most other elected officials in this state, aren't just going to come right out and say that it's because they hate the black and brown people. But the president y'all supported sure has. He's been very vocal about this. He's talked about how they're not humans. Literal dehumanization. It doesn't get more explicit than that. He said they're not humans, they're animals. He said they're poisoning the blood of our country. And I'm sorry, y'all, but you go well out of your way to make sure that this commission stays 5 out of 5 Republicans year over year, that it never changes, that you always have single party control. So when we have a Republican president who's in lockstep with all of you and is carrying out an ethnic cleansing campaign in our community, we need you to say something. We need you to do something. Fundamentalists and extremists have a serious problem. They don't tend to allow themselves a lot of off-ramps. Right? You can't just say forever that all of these immigrant people are criminals and rapists and that they're running loose in our streets and then go, oh, I'm just kidding. We didn't want to put that detention center in our community. And I get that, so I'm giving you one. I'm giving you an off-ramp. It's not too late. It is not too late for you to say the right thing. It is not too late for you to stand with humanity and say that we won't have concentration camps in El Paso County.
Go ahead for the next 3 names.
Victoria Tonsky, Reyes Saucedo, and Pam Dymick.
Good morning. I am Victoria Tonsky, longtime resident of Colorado Springs, came in 1981. I want to start with just a brief moment of silence modeling an inclusive collection of hearts and minds. And then I'd like to read your own statement about your stance. El Paso County Commissioners fully support the efforts of our federal partners, including ICE, to secure our borders, enforce immigration laws, and remove criminal illegal aliens from our communities. We have consistently supported President Trump's strong border enforcement policies and value the ongoing work of our federal partners to help keep El Paso County safe. Priorities that matter to our residents in the wake of President Biden's failed catch and release policies, which have allowed dangerous criminals into our communities. While we are not directly involved and have no specific knowledge of ICE's plans regarding local facilities, we continue to support their role in promoting national and community safety. I want to speak in my remaining moments to the inhumane nature of these detention facilities that it sounds like you, although you have nothing to do with it, support. It's a moral issue. All the previous speakers have brought to light the horror of this possibility. We have not discussed the fact that they are privately funded for profit, that Tom Homan, the border czar, is making money off of this. Yes, immigration law needs to be revised. It is decades in the works. There are generations of families here contributing positively. Please support them.
We have our next speaker, please.
It was Reyes Saucedo. That was the next one. Otherwise, Pam Dymick.
Should I go ahead?
I'm sorry, what's your name?
My name is Pam Dymick.
Okay.
This is my first county commissioners meeting. I was motivated to attend after reading the county commissioner's statement to KKTV regarding the potential ICE locations being considered in Colorado Springs. I'm under no delusions that this is not a highly partisan board, since no Democrat has been elected to the board since the 70s. However, I would hope that there was at least a modicum of respect for the entire citizenry of this county. The statement saddened me, as I'd expected a more refined and broad and educated response from county representatives. Instead, it abdicates any responsibility for influencing the citizenry while broadly attempting to influence listeners by wholehearted support of ICE, its heavy-handed approach, and the current reach that the administration advocates. I've lived and worked in El Paso County since the 70s, and full disclosure, though I am a citizen, I am an immigrant. Perhaps this and the fact that I've traveled extensively throughout the world gives me a respect and appreciation for world citizens that appears to be lacking in the county commissioner's statement, and I resent that their words disregard so many people who live in this county.
Okay, and do we have additional names?
Next speaker is Stephanie Shannon, Walla Grosh, and Barbara Day.
Good morning. My name is Stephanie Shannon. I live here in El Paso County, have lived here for about 10 years. I am here to raise my voice to say that I oppose an ICE detention center being built in this county, and I ask the rest of you raise your voices to do the same. Each one of you have quite literally asked to be where you are right now in running for election. I have a voice and I have a vote in the general elections. You all have more than that. You have the ability to affect zoning. You have a bigger platform than the vast majority of us in this room to raise your voices on moral issues as they come up. And I ask that you do the same for this issue as it comes up here. Thank you.
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Wanda Groshi. My grandpa came over here from Germany at 15 with an apple, and that's how he came. So I'm an immigrant. I'm upset about the detention center. My daughter lived in an apartment right by there. They have demolished that thing. It is a mess inside and out. It's going to cost a fortune to put people in there. They shouldn't be in there. And we got our daughter out of that apartment in the nick of time, thank goodness. I'm hoping, I would like to go in front of that complex, that Parkmore place, and picket, because they should not be in there. Nobody should be in there. And these people don't deserve to be in there. And I'm afraid they're going to come to my church and come and grab some of those people out that they think do not belong here. They do belong here. We all belong here. Thank you for your time.
Again, I ask that you not applaud. Thank you. You've been mostly very cooperative. I appreciate that.
Good morning. My name is Barbara Day, and my husband and I moved here 2 months ago, although we have lived in Colorado Springs for a total of 10 years previously. I do understand that you said you don't have direct control over whether or not this facility is built. However, you do have the approval of the sheriff's budget, where many of the funds will come from. But as a Florida resident, we lived 30 miles from Alligator Alcatraz. And although a lot of people have talked about the impact of the inmates, I want to talk about the impact of a facility of that nature on our community. When you have a facility of this nature, you have impact on schools, impact on roads, impact on the entire community, and for many, many miles around. And it's been devastating. I would encourage you all to consider the impact on El Paso County of building a facility of this nature and what comes along with that, the impact on our schools, the impact on the community, the number of people who are the ICE agents who will be moving here with their families. Many of them are good human beings just trying to do a good job, but you've also seen the worst side of many of these people. So in making a decision of this nature, while I understand it's not directly your decision, I would like you to consider the impact on El Paso County. Thank you.
Next speaker is Ruth King, Tim Davis, and Sam Cena.
Good morning. My name is Ruth King, and I am an immigrant and have been in Colorado Springs since 1998. Although in my early years here in town, I was told by someone, well, you're the right kind of immigrant. So not sure what that meant. But unfortunately, I have witnessed similar things since. I am absolutely disgusted at the possibility of a ICE detention center here in town. And I do find it very interesting when people like yourselves run to be elected into your positions, and I research you, all I can find is nonpartisan. That's all I'm able to find online until you're elected. And then it becomes very clear what your party is. But something that I have witnessed here this morning while I've heard other people so eloquently speaking is the lack of compassion on any of your faces when people are talking about these subjects. You look like you're watching an advertisement on television, which I think is a really poor state of affairs. I have been a realtor for 24 years, and I am very, very curious to see if you build these ICE detention centers, what is going to happen to the construction industry in this town. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Tim Davis. I've been in Colorado Springs since 1969. I'm Mexican heritage. Although my mother was an English teacher, she quoted Shakespeare to me. The reason she did that was she wanted me to have the best advantage to be as Anglo as possible. And as a result, unfortunately, I don't speak Spanish, but I'm reasonably well-spoken. I'm concerned about words. We spoke this morning rather automatically about freedom and justice for all. We have to live that. Freedom and justice for all. If you really believe that, we have to live it. And to live it, you have to speak it. Empathy is being able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. I don't know what your life experience is. If you've ever experienced being stopped on the street for no apparent reason. My son-in-law recently in Denver, he's from Ecuador. He's dark. He's Hispanic. He was stopped walking down the street in Denver. Fortunately, he had all his papers together, but it's scary to know that when you're walking around somewhere and somebody can, out of the blue, can stop you and restrain you or attack you. How does that feel? Put yourself in somebody else's shoes. I hope that you can do that. Thank you.
I'm Sam Senna, and I just have 3 words. E pluribus unum. I hope everyone here should recognize that because it is our national motto. It means out of many, one. There's only one American people. When I look around, I don't see legals and illegals, I see Americans. Because what is an American if not someone who dreams? What is America if not the land of possibility? The land where anyone from anywhere can come out and live their best possible lives. Every day, I hear people say that immigrants are un-American, that they're alien, and that they do not belong. But the thing is, these people, these immigrants we now persecute, have come here from every corner of the world because they believe. They believe in America. They believe in us, the American people. They believe that in the American dream, that if they work hard enough, they can leave behind a better life for their children than they had. I mean, my goodness, from the beaches of Barbados to the valleys of Vietnam to the steppes of Siberia, people come here to America, the land of freedom, the land of possibility. Across oceans, through deserts, and over mountains, they come with nothing but a dream, and the clothes on their backs. I mean, they come, millions of people, each one carrying a song from another land, a rhythm shaped by memory, struggle, and loss. At first, that sound, it is unruly. Melodies that don't quite match, tempos that shift with every step, but soon they begin to blend, not into the same thing, but into something greater, that forms into the song of America, our song, the sound of freedom ringing. And from California to the mountains of Montana to the harbors of Hawaii, that sound, the sound of freedom rings out because of them, because of Americans, because of immigrants. It is what they bring to our country. Thank you.
Next speakers, Zuri Horowitz, Carissa Ramirez, and Jasmine Poblain.
Hi, I'm Zuri Horowitz, third generation in Colorado Springs. I'm also the daughter of an immigrant from Israel. On April 27th, 2025, El Paso County Sheriff Roy Ball collaborated with ICE using El Paso County resources to participate in a raid. In that raid, only 18 people were tagged for deportation. Of those people, 14 had criminal charges. This raid disappeared 86 people. Their families could not find them for a period of time. They also detained 200 people. And the operation required 300 people. So this was a big misuse of your resources that you fund. You can be a coward by continuing to fund a sheriff collaborating with ICE, which makes El Paso County an attractive place for ICE concentration camps, or you can be a hero. You have the moment to stand up or be a coward. Use those resources for more programs like Careers in Construction Colorado. There is so much need to waste that money on detaining residents who are here legally and then torturing people who are detained in concentration camps is disgusting. No to using the Colorado Springs Migrant Detention Center in Colorado Springs and the Cheyenne Mountain Center in Colorado Springs for ICE concentration camps. No to masked anonymous agents violating due process and abducting people off the street. And they include US citizens. They include people who are here illegally. They went after a vet, broke his window, and then locked him up for 3 days. If you care about the vets in your community, do not back ICE. You will be seen in history.
Hello, my name is Carissa Ramirez. Please excuse my voice. I had a tonsillectomy a week ago. I would like to much rather be at home resting and recuperating instead of being here speaking in front of you. Again, my name is Carissa Ramirez. I'm the daughter of an immigrant. I'm Mexican-American of Yaqui descent. I'm also the granddaughter of a migrant farm worker. She had a third grade level education. She was forced to pick crops in Texas when it was no Mexicans, no dogs. So I grew up kind of, around that kind of stuff. So I'm here today to speak out against ICE detention centers in Colorado Springs and Southern Colorado. We've seen this before. My community has been targeted, surveilled, rounded up, not once, but time and time again. And history has taught us that when we stay silent, injustice grows louder. This isn't theoretical. I have a friend in Phoenix who is a paralegal. I was there a few weeks ago. She had recently told me they were down in Tucson at the immigration courts, and she was denied access to a courtroom hearing with a client that had a scheduled appointment for their annual hearing. So let that sink in. A legal proceeding, a person's future is on the line, and ICE blocked them from even stepping into the courtroom. No due process. That is not justice. That's not public safety. That is authoritarianism. We cannot allow the system to take root here. Colorado Springs should not be a testing ground for human rights violations for for-profit incarceration. ICE detention centers are not about safety, they're about control. We have seen where this leads, to children in cages, to families torn apart, to people locked away without access to counsel or court. We have a responsibility to fight back against policies that dehumanize and detain our neighbors simply for seeking a better life. This is how fascism creeps in, through fear, through silence, and through complicity. And let's be honest, people love our food, they love our music, they love our colors, and they love our culture. They vacation in Mexico, and they love to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, but want to turn their backs when it comes to respecting the people behind that culture. You can't love our culture, our flavors, and fear our families.
Hello, my name is Jasmine Poblano. I'm the product of immigrants. I'm a daughter of an Air Force veteran that served here in Colorado Springs for 22 years. I'm a former PhD candidate in history, which means I spent my life immersed in data, context, and facts. And I'm also a Christian, so I resonate with a lot of you, and I care deeply about truth, justice, and how we treat the most vulnerable in our communities. What is being proposed here is both factually unsupported and morally bankrupt. Let's talk about the actual data, because the numbers do not justify these facilities being built here. Undocumented immigrants are 50% less likely to be arrested for violent crimes and 4 times less likely to be arrested for property crimes compared to US citizens. Nationwide, over 60% of ICE detainees have no criminal record at all. Let me repeat that. Majority of people in these ICE custody facilities have committed no crime whatsoever. So why are we building facilities like this? It's not about safety, it's about profit. The GEO Group, which runs the ICE facility in Aurora and runs most of them in the US and is behind this expansion, earn an estimated $150 per person per day in taxpayer money. They've pledged $70 million in 2025 alone to expand detention, and they remain as one of Donald Trump's biggest top funders, funneling millions into other Republican campaigns, including here in Colorado. This is a morally bankrupt system built on fear, not on facts. We're talking about detaining people indefinitely without trial for civil infractions, often while denying them legal representation, medical care, or basic human dignity. And all of this is to enrich private prison companies. If we truly care about safety, public safety, let's invest in housing, education, and mental health, not cages. Thank you.
Next speakers, Teresa McKay, Jesse Prophet, and Christian Rice.
Good morning. Hi, Ken. Brett. Hi, Brett. Nice. Hi, Corey. Hi, Holly. Holly, you've paid attention to some of this, so I'll give you that. Carrie, good morning. Lauren, good morning. Bill, and Jackie. Jackie, you've paid attention a little bit too. Hello, officers. I'm Teresa McKay. I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse over 30 years. By the way, I also worked with Abby Mobilati's wife for a long time. Not only did we work taking care of patients bedside, we taught people, we taught the new young students coming up how to save lives. Am I sad? Yeah. What's up with Yemi? He lies. What's up with Abby? What's up with Sheriff Roybal and the questionable posse? What's up with Jeff Crank? What is up with all of you? There is blood on all of your hands, and it's not washable. Ken, it's so sad that you can't look at people and pay attention, because this doesn't matter to you, does it? But this will matter in history for every one of us. Every single one of us, Carrie. I would much rather save lives than mistreat humans. And you all signed an oath too. My husband's a vet, and he has done so much for this country. He's with our grandbaby right now because we didn't feel like the best place to bring our grandbaby was in here with this kind of energy. That woman that prayed, who's gone when we got up and talked, told me this morning that everybody lies. Well, if you support a pedophile, are you a pedophile? If you support this, are you also corrupt and cruel? Thank you, Ken. I'm glad you paid attention a little bit. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Corey. By the way, Corey, you have also looked up a lot.
Your time has expired. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. And thank you, officers. And thank you to all of us for being here.
Okay. Again, we don't allow applause in this room for decorum reasons. Thank you. Our next speaker.
Hello, commissioners. My name is Jesse Prophet, and I'm a local resident. so I'll keep this quick. You were very quick at the beginning of this to cite Colorado law 24-76.7-103 to try to head off your responsibility to say it's all good. Meanwhile, Sheriff Roybal is openly violating that law and bragging about it and conducting some of the largest ICE raids in Colorado's history. And he seemed pretty quiet on that. That's not true, actually. Last year, you joined a lawsuit along with Sheriff Roybal against the state to repeal that law preventing cooperation with ICE, arguing it violates Colorado Constitution and infringes on local rule. Shame! Is that lawsuit ongoing? That's a question. Is that lawsuit still going on? Has it been dropped, or are you still pushing for that? Okay, well, if it is, how about you drop it? Thank you.
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Christian Rice. I live here, I pay taxes here, and at the beginning of this year, I served as a legislative aide for a state senator who was the chair of the Education Committee here at the Capitol, or here in Colorado. For months, I worked at the Capitol on bills to help students across Colorado. And you know what I saw? Latino kids who look like me, who were afraid, not because they've done anything wrong, but because of the way that the system treats them, because of the things that people in power say about them. Then a raid happens, and now you want to build detention centers in our city. That's not public safety, that's fear. That's a message that says, stay in your place, keep your head down, don't ask questions, and don't dream too big. Do you know what real fear feels like? It feels like not knowing if your family is safe. It feels like the government building more walls instead of bridges. I reject that. I reject this agenda, and I reject the comments that have come from this very body. But I want to speak directly to the young people in this room or watching from home. Don't give up. Colorado Springs is changing. I've seen it, I believe in it, and I believe in you. So please, to the young people, vote. We don't have to be represented by these leaders. We can change who leads our Board of County Commissioners. And to the commissioners, you have power. You don't have to go along with this. You can listen, and you should listen. Please listen to us. Thank you.
And Madam Chair, the last two speakers signed up are June Walker and Margarita Trevino Waters.
Thank you.
Morning. Everyone's so much taller than I am. My name is June Waller. I live in Commissioner District 5. I'm here to tell you, I came 62 years ago to Colorado Springs. I've been paying taxes because of property for about 61 years. I'm not here today for you or for the people in the room or for June Waller. I have 5 generations, including me, in this community. So I'm begging that you listen to the 4, because I'm here to give the 5th. I have 3 daughters. I had 3 daughters. I've lost one. 1 married white, 1 married black, and 1 married Hispanic. Now, in 20 years from now, because of those mixtures, I don't think ICE will be able to tell the difference. And I'm concerned about that. I think you've heard everything that needs to be said about our representation. I think you've heard all of that. I love Jasmine's speech. But please, think about the generations that's coming behind me. Think about the money you're expecting to get to have those folks here, which means they'll be here forever. And think about our city. Our city has been the reason I'm here this long. I came when I was 27 years old, so that tells you how old I am. Please, thank you.
Did we have one more?
Yes, Margarita Trevino Waters.
Hi, my name is Margarita Trevino Waters. I am a immigrant. I was born in Mexico. My father took me to California. My sisters and I, when I was 3 years old. I had a career in high tech for 25 years. Raised 2 boys. The United States has been fantastic, great for me. Everything has been fantastic until now. Now, I have to carry my immigration papers and my passport picture everywhere I go. Am I going to be detained? Am I going to be going to these ICE detention centers? I don't want one here in town. We don't need it. Thank you.
And Madam Chair, I believe Blake's trying to call in the one person online, and that will conclude public comment.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Michael Gates. I'm a resident of El Paso County for about 30 years now. And while I planned on attending this meeting in person, I was asked to cover a shift at our local fire department. I apologize for my absence and I appreciate the online impact. I'm here as a father, a volunteer, a passionate supporter of our youth, especially through the 4-H and FFA program here in El Paso County. Both my daughters are active in 4-H, and through this program, they have learned life skills most adults are still trying to master, from balancing checkbooks and understanding profit margins, public speaking, community service, and small business management. Before my oldest daughter even turned 10 years old, she was writing project proposals, tracking inventory, and learning real-world finances, all thanks to 4-H and the CSU extension. These programs don't just occupy time, they build character, and through the help of my wife and I have raised responsible, hardworking, community-minded citizens. During the school year, our kids are up before dawn and care for our animals and their animals. They maintain excellent grades, handle after-school responsibilities, and still show up to meetings, events, and practices, often asking for nothing more than support and encouragement. However, after carefully reviewing the current budget documents for CSU Extension and Fairgrounds, it is extremely difficult, if not impossible, to identify any dedicated or increased support for youth development. These line items are vague, buried, or not there at all. The fairground funding is also unclear and seems to fall short of actual needs, where it is noticed throughout the years that the projects and goals were copied and pasted from previous years. Meanwhile, parents and the children are being asked to privately fund essential project awards, equipment for shows, animal paneling, practice spaces, and even basic infrastructural improvement. Today, I'm respectfully asking you to support the following actions that will ensure long-term success and sustainability of our youth development and our fairgrounds. 1 is going to create a budget line for youth development. 2, establish separate line item for fairgrounds. 3, increase funding for reflective.
Sir, I'm sorry, your time has expired. If you have just an additional sentence or so, please wrap up quickly. Otherwise, we would be happy for you to submit your entire testimony and concerns via emails, and the board can take a look at that. Thank you.
I appreciate the time.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate all of the cooperation today. We will be moving on to item 9.
Item number 9 is the called up consent calendar, and there are no items called up today.
Item 10.
Item number 10 is department and committee reports, non-action items, and there are none.
Item 11.
Item 11 is the addendum, and there are no addendums today.
Item 12.
Item 12 is the executive session. 12A, conference executive session pursuant to CRS 246402 4B and E for the purpose of 1, conference with the county attorney's office for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions regarding aviation fuel sales tax collection and distribution, and 2, determining positions relative to matters subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and instructing negotiators regarding distribution of aviation fuel sales tax for aviation purposes. Kenneth Hodges, County Attorney. And item 12B, executive session pursuant to CRS 246402 4B for the purpose of receiving legal advice on the county's role in and criteria for approving service plans for Title 32 special districts. Lori Segal, Senior Assistant County Attorney.
If I could ask those who are exiting the room to remember, we are still hosting a meeting, so if you could exit quietly and take your conversations outside, we'd appreciate that, so we can not have disruption to the meeting. Thank you.
I move we go into executive session for the purposes stated on the record.
Second, Madam Chair.
Okay, that has been moved and seconded. I'll call the roll. Commissioner Wysong.
Yay.
Commissioner Nelson. Aye. Commissioner Applegate.
Do a yes.
Vice Chair Williams.
Yes.
And the chair votes aye. That passes 5-0. We are in executive session.